Welcome to Revenge Justice, where every wrong finds its payback.
You know, sometimes the truth doesn't shout. It whispers. In a way you can't quite ignore, even when you try. For me, that whisper came from a deck of tarot cards. I didn't believe in them at first. I thought they were just symbols, pretty drawings meant to comfort lost hearts. But then, he came into my life. And everything changed. His name was Daniel. And the first time I saw him, it felt like I'd known him before. Not in a romantic way, not yet. It was something older. Something deep. Like a memory I couldn't place. We met at a small local art class. He was late, carrying a sketchbook, laughing as he apologized to the teacher. And when our eyes met, it was like time slowed down. It wasn't butterflies. It was recognition. A quiet, electric knowing. From that day on, we were inseparable. Coffee after class turned into long night walks. Texts that became paragraphs. And a friendship that burned too brightly to stay platonic. He wasn't perfect. He was unpredictable. Passionate. And when he spoke, every word felt like it came from a place I already understood. But from the beginning, there was something off. It was the timing. He was still untangling himself from a long, messy breakup. I told myself I'd wait. That it was fine. That love this strong would be worth the wait. But the truth was, I was already losing myself in him. And that's when I turned to the cards. It was a quiet Sunday morning. Rain on the window. Coffee in my hand. I shuffled the deck without really knowing what I was doing. And when I asked, "What is this connection?" 3 cards fell out. The Lovers. The Devil. The Tower. Even if you don't know tarot, you can probably feel what that means. The Lovers, choice, connection, desire. The Devil, obsession, control, temptation. The Tower, destruction, but also revelation. I stared at them for a long time. Part of me wanted to laugh. Part of me wanted to cry. Because somewhere deep inside, I already knew what the cards were trying to tell me. This wasn't a fairy tale. It was a karmic bond. One meant to teach, not to last. But I wasn't ready to listen. Weeks turned into months. We grew closer, but also, more chaotic. We fought over small things. Texts left unanswered, unspoken expectations. The way he'd disappear for days and then return like nothing happened. And still, I stayed. Because every time he smiled, I saw the version of him I wanted to believe in. The one I thought I could save. That's what karmic relationships do to you. They pull at your wounds. They make you chase the lesson until you learn it the hard way. One night, after another argument that ended in silence, I sat at my desk and pulled the cards again. The first was the Moon, illusion, confusion, secrets. The second was the 10 of Swords, betrayal, ending, final truth. The third, the Star, healing. And I remember whispering, "Please, don't let it be what I think it is." But it was. The next week, I found out. He'd been seeing someone else. Someone he told me was just a friend. I saw the messages. I saw the photos. I didn't even confront him right away. I just sat there, staring at my phone, feeling like the entire universe had turned its back on me. It's strange, the moment heartbreak hits. It's not always loud. Sometimes, it's just a quiet breaking inside your chest. Like glass under your own hand. He called that night. Said it wasn't what it looked like. Said I was overreacting. Said he didn't mean to hurt me. And still, I listened. Because part of me still wanted to believe. But when I hung up, the truth finally settled in. This was the Tower moment. The one the cards had warned me about all along. And in the ruins of that realization, something unexpected happened. I didn't cry. Not right away. I just felt free. Because when the illusion falls, you stop fighting reality. The days that followed were a blur. I deleted his number. I packed away every reminder. His hoodie, his sketches, the photos on my phone. And yet, every time I passed my tarot deck, it felt like it was calling to me. So one evening, I lit a candle, took a deep breath, and pulled one last spread. The first card was death. The second was temperance. The third, the sun. Death, endings, transformation. Temperance, balance, healing. The sun, joy, clarity, rebirth. For the first time, I smiled. Because I finally understood. The cards weren't predicting my pain. They were preparing me for my freedom. Months passed. And little by little, I came back to myself. I started painting again. Started journaling. Started saying no to things that didn't feel right. Sometimes he'd still text. Little messages like, "Hey, how are you?" But I didn't answer. Not out of anger. Out of peace. Because I realized something. Karmic relationships don't end when the person leaves. They end when the lesson is learned. And mine was simple. Love doesn't have to hurt to be real. And if you have to beg for peace, it's not love, it's a lesson. I remember one particular day, months later. I went to a local market. And in one of the booths, there was a woman selling crystals and tarot decks. She smiled at me and said, "You look like someone who's learned to listen to the cards." I laughed softly and said, "More like someone who finally listened." She nodded and said something I'll never forget. "The cards don't tell you the future. They tell you the truth. You just have to be brave enough to see it." Life has a strange way of giving closure when you least expect it. One afternoon, I saw Daniel again. At the same cafe where we used to sit for hours. He looked tired. Different. He smiled, said hello, asked how I'd been. And for the first time, I didn't feel that pull anymore. No anger. No longing. Just quiet gratitude. Because without him, I might never have found myself. He was my karmic mirror. The one who showed me everything I needed to heal. The one who taught me that love isn't always meant to stay. But it always leaves something behind. That night, I pulled one final card. Just one. It was the world. Completion. Wholeness. The end of one cycle, and the beginning of another. And as I placed the card down, I whispered, "Thank you." Not to him. To the universe. To the lesson. To the version of me who survived it all. Now, when people ask if I still read tarot, I smile and say, yes. But not to find love. I read to understand. To remember. To connect with the part of me that finally knows. Sometimes, the greatest love story is the one you write with yourself. Not every love is meant to last. Some are meant to wake you up. Karmic relationships are mirrors. They show you your wounds so you can finally heal them. The universe doesn't send you pain to punish you. It sends you lessons to prepare you. For peace, for strength, and for the love that will never make you question your worth again. If this story touched your heart, take a moment to like this video. Subscribe to our channel. And share it with someone who might need to hear it today. Because healing starts with stories. And every story brings us closer to understanding the truth we've been avoiding. Broken Heart Crystal Ball. Stay kind. Stay open. And remember, sometimes, the cards don't break you. They set you free.